I'd buried my best friend alive in the pine box I'd built with my own hands. The kind of rough-hewn thing you'd see in a backwoods Alabama funeral. But this wasn't for show, it was payback. Pure and choking as the Georgia red clay, I shoveled over the lid while he screamed my name like a prayer gone sour. 4 months earlier, I'd stood at the altar in a Charleston courthouse, Emily's hand in mine, her smile brighter than the lowcountry sun slicing through the stained glass, whispering vows that tasted like forever. But forever's just a word for suckers who don't check the small print. And then, on a drizzly Tuesday in October, the videographer from our wedding, some hipster kid named Jax with tattoos snaking up his neck like bad decisions, slid a USB drive across the coffee shop table in downtown Savannah, his eyes darting like he was handing over state secrets, muttering, "Dude, you need to see this. It's gonna wreck you." That footage? It wasn't the sweet nothings or the first dance under paper lanterns. No, it was the raw cut. The unfiltered hours Jax had captured in secret angles. The kind of shit you delete before upload because it humanizes too much. Exposes the cracks. There she was, Emily. My Emily, laughing in the bridal suite, her veil half-pinned, phone in hand, texting furiously while her bridesmaids buzzed around like caffeinated hornets. But it wasn't the text that gutted me, it was the reply that flashed on screen. Timestamped 2:17 a.m. The night before our rehearsal dinner. Miss you already. Can't wait to make this right. Love. M. M for Marcus. Marcus Hale. My brother from another mother. The guy who'd been my shadow since we were kids stealing smokes from our old man's glove box in that Rust Belt, Ohio town we fled after Mom OD'd on pills and regret. I hit pause. The coffee shop's indie folk playlist crooning some bullshit about lost love. And felt the world tilt. Marcus? The same Marcus who'd been my best man. Who'd clapped me on the back during the toasts. Tears in his eyes as he called us brothers for life. The footage rolled on in my mind like a bad acid trip, snippets Jax had pieced together. Marcus slipping into the groomsmen's suite at midnight. Emily's silhouette in the hallway shadows. Their whispers too low for the mic, but loud enough in body language to scream affair. And worse, the alibis they'd woven. The lies that draped over our wedding like cheap tulle. I'd trusted them both with everything, my secrets. My scars. The blood on my knuckles from the fights I'd taken to keep Marcus out of juvie back when we were 15 and he was slinging dime bags to feed his addict girlfriend. Jax leaned in, his voice a gravelly whisper over the hiss of the espresso machine. I didn't edit this out because, man, it's not my place. But your wife's been calling me nonstop, begging me to bury it. Said it'd destroy the family. Family. That word hit like a sucker punch to the solar plexus. What family? The one I'd built from the wreckage of ours, me. The foster kid shuffle between trailer parks. Emily, the Southern belle who'd seen past my grease monkey hands to the heart I kept buried under hoods and engines. We'd met at a NASCAR tailgate in Darlington, her in cut-off shorts and a Braves cap. Me nursing a Bud Light and a grudge against the world. She laughed at my dumb jokes about carburetors and karma. And for the first time, I believed in second chances. But Marcus? He'd always been the wild card. The charming snake with a silver tongue that got him out of bar fights and into women's beds. We'd reconnected 5 years back when I moved south for a mechanic gig at a high-end BMW shop in Atlanta, him crashing on my couch after another failed hustle up north. Emily adored him, called him the fun uncle we'll never have, and I'd let it slide because blood's thicker than oil. Right?
Wrong.
Dead fucking wrong. I pocketed the drive, tossed a 20 on the table, and bolted into the rain-slick streets. The USB burning a hole in my jeans like contraband. My truck was parked 2 blocks down. A 98F, 150 with more dents than memories. And as I fired it up, tires spitting gravel, I cranked the classic rock, Springsteen wailing about highways and heartbreak, to drown the roar in my head. Home was a craftsman bungalow on the outskirts of Savannah. The kind with wraparound porch and creaky swings. The American dream on installment payments. Emily's Prius was in the drive, cherry blue against my truck's faded red, and for a split second, I pictured her inside, humming along to NPR while folding laundry, oblivious or not. The door creaked open to the smell of magnolia candles and microwave popcorn, date night leftovers. She was curled on the couch in yoga pants and my old college tee, scrolling TikTok, her auburn hair spilling like wine over the cushions. "Hey, babe," she said, not looking up. "You grab Ty on the way? I'm starving." I stood there, dripping rain, the weight of betrayal pooling at my feet. "Emily," I said, voice steady as a fault line about to crack. "Who's Em?" Her phone clattered to the floor. The color drained from her face faster than cheap Merlot, leaving her freckles stark against porcelain skin.
"What?"
"What do you mean?" But her eyes, those hazel pools I drowned in, betrayed her, flicking to the door like she could bolt. I pulled the drive from my pocket, held it up like evidence in a courtroom drama.
"This."
Jax gave me the raw footage. Saw the texts. Saw him. The silence stretched, taut as a bowstring, broken only by the tick of the grandfather clock her daddy'd given us, a relic from his Charleston estate, ticking like a bomb. She sat up, knees to chest, whispering, "Jack,
"Please."
it was nothing.
"A mistake."
Before the wedding."
"Lies."
The footage said otherwise, Marcus's hand on her waist during the bouquet toss. The way she'd lingered in his toast. Her laugh too intimate. Too knowing. "Nothing," I echoed, the word tasting like ash. "You've been fucking my best friend."
"Eminencia."
"My brother. And you lied to my face every goddamn day since." The rage built slow. A pressure cooker on high. Memories flashing. The bachelor party in Vegas, where Marcus covered for me when I blacked out on Jack and Cokes. The night Emily miscarried our first. And it was Marcus who sat with me on the hospital steps, chain-smoking Camels while I ugly cried like a kid. I'd covered for him too, alibis for his shady deals, bailing him out of county lockup after a bar brawl that left 2 guys stitched up. And this was how he repaid it? She reached for me, tears carving tracks through mascara. "Jack, I love you." It was just stress. The wedding, the move, your long hours at the shop. Marcus was there, listening.
"Right."
To her complaints about my blue-collar bullshit, how I worked doubles to pay for the ring that now mocked me from her finger. I jerked away, the couch springs groaning in protest. "Get out," I said, quiet at first, then louder. A thunderclap. "Pack your shit and go." But she didn't move. Instead, she unfolded, standing tall in those bare feet I'd kissed 100 mornings.
"No."
"We're not doing this." Not over one slip.
"Slip."
Like it was a banana peel, not a knife to the gut. That's when the first crack showed, the secret she'd buried deeper than our vows. "Jack, there's more. You need to know why."
"Why?"
That word hung, heavy as humidity in July. I sank into the armchair, the one with the threadbare arms from too many late nights nursing beers and regrets. "Tell me." And she did. spilling it like poison from a cracked vial. The affair started a year ago. Yes, but it wasn't just lust. Marcus had dirt on me, on us. Something from my past. A hidden run I'd taken the fall for back in Ohio, when I was 22 and buzzed on moonshine, clipping a pedestrian on a back road. The guy lived, but the charges stuck. Manslaughter plea. 2 years probation. The stain that kept me from better jobs. From the life Emily deserved. I'd confessed it to Marcus one drunk night, thinking brotherhood meant absolution. But he'd used it, leveraged it to keep her close, whispering threats if she left him for good. You covered for him? I choked, the room spinning. No, she covered for me. Emily had known about the accident all along, had paid off the victim's family anonymously with her trust fund scraps, buried the paper trail. But Marcus? He'd found out, twisted it into blackmail, sleep with me, or I tell Jack everything, ruin us both. It was a house of cards, built on my lie, her sacrifice, his greed. The shock numbed me, cold as the Chattahoochee in winter. I'd suffered for that mistake, lost scholarships, dodged whispers in every small town we hit. But Emily? She'd shouldered the silence, the guilt, letting Marcus's shadow puppeteer her choices. Betrayal squared, layered like sedimentary rock. Why not tell me? I whispered, hating the whine in my voice. Because I wanted to protect you, she sobbed. From yourself. From him. Him.
Marcus Hale.
The brother I'd die for. Now the villain in my rear view. That night, she left, duffel bag slung over shoulder. Prius humming away into the sodium-lit streets. I sat alone, the USB drive mocking me from the coffee table, until dawn clawed through the blinds. Revenge? It wasn't a spark yet, just embers in my gut. But embers spread.
Boy.
They consume. By noon, I was at the shop, torque wrench in hand, but my mind was elsewhere plotting. Marcus lived in a condo off Tybee Island, beachfront bachelor pad funded by God knows what side hustles. I texted him, we need to talk. Bar on River Street. 8 p.m. Neutral ground.
Or so he'd think.
The drive over was a blur of palmettos and potholes. Lynyrd Skynyrd blasting Simple Man like a dirge. River Street was alive with tourists, fiddlers scraping bows, horse-drawn carriages clopping on cobblestones, but I barely saw it. Nursing a Jack on the rocks at Huey's, the booth sticky with spilled dreams. He sauntered in at 8:15, all cocky grin and cologne, clapping my shoulder like nothing'd cracked. Jackie boy, what's the crisis? Am giving you hell already? I slid the USB across the scarred oak table. Watch it, his brow furrowed. But he plugged into his phone. The footage flickering in the dim light, texts, shadows, the damning dance. The color leached from his face. But no denial, just a slow nod.
Shit.
Caught me. Caught. I laughed, bitter as battery acid. You've been screwing my wife for a year.
Mark.
Blackmailing her with my past. For what? Kicks? To prove you're top dog? He leaned back, lighting a Marlboro despite the no-smoking sign, exhaling smoke like a dragon rousing. Come on.
Man.
It wasn't like that. Emily. She's fire. You know? And yeah, I knew about the hit and run. Thought it made us even. You owe me for covering your ass back then. Covering my ass? The lie burned. He'd ratted me out to the cops anonymously. Greased the plea deal for a cut of my settlement from the shop's insurance. Even. I snarled, knuckles whitening around my glass. You used it to fuck her. To fuck me. The bar noise faded, tension coiling like a spring. He shrugged, that infuriating half-smile. Life's a game.
Jack.
You win some. You lose some. But hey, water under the bridge. We can fix this, 3 musketeers again. Musketeers. The word snapped something primal. I lunged, fist connecting with his jaw in a crack that silenced the room, blood blooming on his lip like a rose in hell. Bouncers hauled me off, but not before I hissed. This ain't over.
Outside.
The Savannah River lapped black and oily, mirroring the void in my chest. Revenge wasn't just embers now, it was a bonfire, licking at the edges of sanity. The weeks blurred into a fever dream of bourbon barrels and bad decisions, my life unraveling like a cheap suit in a laundromat spin cycle. Emily texted apologies from a motel in Bluffton, vague pleas for space to think, but I ghosted her. The betrayal too raw to touch. Work at the shop became my anchor, endless oil changes on Volvos driven by housewives who chattered about PDA drama while I fantasized about torque wrenches as weapons. But Marcus? He vanished. Radio silent. His condo echoing empty when I drove by 1 midnight. Tires crunching shells on the beach access road. The Atlantic whispering secrets I couldn't decipher. I started digging. The old PI instincts from my juvie days kicking in, nothing fancy. Just Google and grit. Turned out Marcus had layers. Onion skin schemes peeling back to rot at the core. Public records showed arrests expunged, wire fraud in Jersey, assault in Philly, a civil suit from a jilted business partner alleging embezzlement from a startup he'd co-founded. The guy was a chameleon, flipping from venture bro to barfly, always one step ahead of the Reaper. But the real kicker? A sealed file from Ohio, time-stamped around my hidden run. Marcus had been the passenger that night. Shotgun seat, egging me on with dares and dust-cut coke. I'd blacked out. Woke to sirens and his alibi. Jack was alone. Officer. I wasn't even there. He'd framed me solo to dodge the wheel. Left me holding the bag while he slithered free. That truth hit during a stakeout at a dive off I-95, nursing flat beer while scrolling court dockets on my phone, the neon open sign buzzing like angry bees. I'd suffered the fallout, probation officers up my ass, jobs evaporating like morning dew, but he'd profited, using the clean slate to hustle his way south. And Emily? She'd known fragments, pieced it from whispers, but never the full mosaic. Her sacrifice, paying off the victim, burying evidence, wasn't just loyalty. It was atonement for loving a liar, for choosing me over the safer path her debutante family pushed. Rage fermented into plan, cold and calculated as a carburetor rebuild. I needed leverage, something to flip the script, make Marcus choke on his own venom. Jax, the videographer, became unlikely ally, met him at a Waffle House off Highway 17. Hash browns scattering like shrapnel as he slid over a laptop. Dude, I burned a copy for insurance, he said, eyes wild under that man bun. But if Em finds out, I'm toast. The files were gold, not just wedding clips, but backups from the reception. Marcus cornering Emily by the oyster bar, his hand possessive on her hip, words captured in a rogue mic. Tell him. Or I will. The accident wasn't just his fuck-up. We both drove that night.
Boom.
Deniability shattered. I copied it to my cloud, heart pounding like AV8 at Redline. Why help? I asked. Syrup-sticky fork paused midair. Jack shrugged, chasing eggs with black coffee. Karma.
Man.
I grew up in trailer trash hell. Betrayal's a bitch.
Plus.
Your story? It's got edge. If this blows up, I could pitch it to Netflix. Hollywood vultures. Even in the weeds. But I took the bait. Because isolation was a slow poison. And allies, even flaky ones, kept the demons at bay. First move. Rattle the cage. I drove to Marcus's last known haunt. A crab shack on St. Simon's Island where lowlifes laundered cash through shrimp boils. The place reeked of Old Bay and desperation. Picnic tables scarred by knife fights. The jukebox crooning Alan Jackson like a eulogy. He was there, holding court with a crew of roughnecks, tattooed arms waving tales of offshore rigs and off-book deals. I slid into the bench opposite, casual as a cold beer. Miss me? His eyes narrowed. Bruise from our bar brawl faded to yellow. But the wariness lingered. Jack. Didn't expect the prodigal asshole so soon. Laughter rippled from his posse. But it died when I dropped the bomb. Passenger seat. Ohio 03. Ring any bells? The table froze. Forks hovering over hush puppies. Marcus's smile cracked. Facade slipping like wet sand. The fuck you on about? But his voice pitched high. Telltale tremor. I leaned in. Voice low. Southern drawl thickening with venom. Footage. Records. The works. You weren't not there. You were riding shotgun. High as Satan. Daring me to punch it. Whispers erupted. His crew exchanging glances. Loyalties fickle when skeletons rattle. He slammed his fist, sending foam sloshing from his pitcher. Bullshit. You hit that deer or whatever, solo. I saved your ass.
Saved.
The lie we'd both swallowed. But now it gagged him. Save it for the cops, I said.
Standing.
The chair scraping like nails on chalkboard. Or Emily. She's got copies too. Bluff, she didn't. Not yet, but it landed. His face paling under the string lights. I walked out to the salt marsh hum. Cicadas chorusing victory. But doubt nipped at my heels. Was this revenge? Or just trading punches in an endless brawl? Emily resurfaced a week later. Unannounced. Key turning in the lock like a ghost at midnight. The bungalow smelled of takeout neglect. Dishes piled like accusations. She stood in the doorway. Thinner. Shadows under her eyes like bruised peaches. A bottle of Pinot Noir dangling from one hand like an olive branch dipped in acid. Jack. We talk.
Now.
I was midway through a six-pack on the porch swing. The humid night pressing close. Fireflies winking like faulty wiring. Ain't much to say. But she poured, anyway. 2 plastic cups of cheap vintage. The cork popping like a gunshot. We sat. Knees not quite touching. The silence thick as marsh mud. I ended it, she started. Voice frayed. With Marcus. Weeks ago. But the blackmail. It trapped me. He said he'd ruin you. Expose the cover-up. Send you back to prison for tampering. Tampering. My stomach knotted. The payoff she'd made. Hush money from her dwindling inheritance. Funneled through a shell account to the victim's kin. Illegal as hell. A felony if unraveled. You did that for me? I whispered. The beer turning sour. She nodded. Tears glistening in the porch light. I couldn't lose you. Not after everything. Everything. The infertility struggles we'd buried under forced smiles. The move south to escape my ghosts. The way she'd trace my probation scars, faint lines from the cuffs, and call them battle wounds. But trust? Shattered like the wine glass she hurled into the yard. Shards catching moonlight. Why him? I pressed, the question festering. Of all the fuck-ups in the world. She deflated, hugging knees.
He was
Familiar. Charming. And broken. Like you. Like us. Like us. The echo stung. We'd bonded over wreckage. Two strays building a kennel from scraps. Marcus had exploited that. Wormed in as the third wheel. Then the saboteur. We talked till the bottle emptied. Words tumbling like dominoes. Regrets. Recriminations. The raw ache of what-ifs. By 3 a.m., her head on my shoulder, breath sinking to the cricket symphony. I felt the thaw, not forgiveness, but a fragile truce. I want him gone, I murmured, fingers tangling in her hair. From our lives. Forever. She stiffened, pulling back, eyes searching mine. What does that mean?
Jack.
What indeed? Dawn broke bloody, painting the Spalding oaks in crimson, and I kissed her goodbye, soft, tentative, before heading to the shop. But the plan crystallized in traffic. Brake lights blurring on 95. Expose him. Not with fists,
But facts.
I called in a favor from an old cellmate buddy. Now a skip tracer in Atlanta, Ricky. The kind of guy who could unearth digital graves for a case of cores. Dig deep on Hale, I said, merging onto the interstate. Everything.
Debts. Dames.
Dirty deals. Ricky's call came that evening. Voice crackling over spotty cell. Jackie. Your boy's a ghost with a rap sheet. Offshore accounts in the Caymans. Tied to a Ponzi gig that fleeced retirees in Florida. And get this, the hit-and-run victim? Not a rando. Your ma's dealer. The prick who laced her pills. Marcus knew. Set you up to clip him as payback. Payback. The word ricocheted, twisting the knife. Mom's death. Pinned on suicide. But whispers said foul play. Marcus, orphaned young, had hated the dealer for hooking his own kin. So he'd used me, a drunk, grieving kid, as the hammer, then bailed. The revelation buckled me. Truck swerving onto the shoulder. Horns blaring like Judgment Day. I'd killed for him. Unwittingly. Carried the cross while he danced free. Emily's car was in the drive when I pulled up. Lights warm in the windows. She met me at the door. Concern etching her face. You okay?
No.
Hell no. But I pulled her close. The lie of normalcy our shield. That night, we made love slow, reclaiming, bodies mapping forgiveness in sweat and sighs. But as she slept, curled against me, I stared at the ceiling fan's lazy whirl, plotting the endgame. Marcus wasn't just a cheat, he was a cancer, metastasized from boyhood sins. Cutting him out meant blood. Maybe mine. But damn if I'd let him metastasize further. Next morning, I mailed the first anonymous packet, USB copy, printouts, to his biggest creditor, a shyster lawyer in Miami who'd sued him dry. Then another to the Ponzi Victims Association. CC to the FBI tip line. Cyber pebbles in ponds. Ripples building to tsunami. Marcus called that afternoon. Voice silk over steel. Nice try, brother. But games like this, they backfire.
Click.
Threat veiled, but clear. I laughed. Hollow. Into the deadline. Backfire? Bring it. The hunt was on. And in the South. Revenge simmers slow, but it boils over bloody. Emily sensed the shift, her touch lingering at breakfast, bacon sizzling like warnings. "Promise me no violence," she begged, eyes pleading over coffee steam. "We go legal. Clean.
Clean.
In our world?"
Afferitade.
But I nodded,
Kissed her temple.
the salt of her skin a vow I'd break. Because Marcus didn't play clean, he flipped tables, burned bridges, left scorched earth.
And now, so would I.
The ripples hit Marcus like a squall off the Gulf, his empire of smoke and mirrors fracturing under the deluge of subpoenas and shitstorms I unleashed from the shadows. First came the feds, knocking on his Tybee condo at dawn, badges flashing like lightning in the marsh fog, wire fraud allegations bubbling up for my tips, Ponzi threads pulling tight. He called Emily that night, desperation cracking his charm. "Tell your psycho husband to back off, or we all drown." She played the recording for me over takeout lo mein in the kitchen. Chopsticks paused midair, her face a mask of conflicted fury. "He's scared."
Jack.
"Good.
But this.
It's escalating." Escalating? Understatement of the year. My days blurred into double life. Grease under nails by daylight. Digital guerrilla by dusk. Burner phones for anonymous posts on sleuth forums. Deepfakes splicing his face onto old perp walks from archived newsreels. The internet's a wild west. Saloons full of vigilantes happy to draw on a mark like Marcus. By week's end, his LinkedIn was a graveyard of unfollows. Clients ghosting like bad debts. But the snake struck back, slithering into my world with precision venom. It started small, slashed tires on my truck outside the shop. The word traitor keyed into the door panel in looping script that screamed his flair. Then calls, blocked numbers breathing heavy. Whispers of "Remember Ohio. Your turn to bury secrets." The hit-and-run haunted. Upgraded now to murder in my nightmares. Mom's pale face superimposed on the victims. Accusing from the grave. Emily found the first threat note slipped under our door, a Polaroid of her jogging the seawall. Time-stamped yesterday. Scrawled back. "She runs pretty. Wouldn't want a car to clip her." Panic clawed her, turning our sanctuary into a bunker, deadbolts doubled, curtains drawn against the live oak's skeletal arms. "He's unhinged," she whispered that night, wine glass trembling in her grip as thunder rumbled distant over the Atlantic. We were on the couch, TV droning a Dateline rerun about spousal betrayal, irony thick as the storm front. "We stopped this. Go to the cops."
Cops.
The word soured my tongue, irony's bastard child, since they'd been my noose once. And say what? My brother's a dick? They've got nothing solid. But she was right. My amateur hour was poking the bear, not slaying it. So we pivoted, lawyered up with a pit bull from Savannah's old money circuit, Harlan Tate, who chain-smoked camels in his oak-paneled office and growled about restraining orders like they were love letters. "Hail's slippery," he rasped, ash flaking onto case files yellowed as bad teeth. But threats? That's felony bait. We build a net. The net, logs of calls, photos of vandalism. The Polaroid submitted as Exhibit A. Harlan's clerk filed motions by noon. And by evening, a judge slapped a temporary order, no contact, 500 yards, or cuffs. Marcus's response? A middle finger in legalese. He showed at the shop 2 days later, casual in chinos and a polo stretched over his gym rat frame, ignoring the order like a speed limit in a school zone. The bays echoed with air ratchets and country radio as he leaned against my toolbox,
Smirking.
Heard you're playing lawyer now. Cute. Oil streaked my forearms. The AC Delco wrench heavy in my palm like temptation. Customers milled, a soccer mom in a minivan. Oblivious, but tension hummed. Electric as welding sparks. Leave, I said,
Low.
wiping sweat with a rag. Orders live. You breach. It's jail. He chuckled.
Dark and rolling.
Jail? Been there. Done that. Makes the street sweeter.
But you?
Mister.
Clean?
One whiff of that payoff Emily made. And poof, accessory after the fact. The wrench slipped, clanging to concrete. He knew how. Hacked her phone? Bribed to contact? The net tightened on me now. His eyes gleaming with that flip-flop glee. Victim to victor in a heartbeat. I lunged, but he danced back. Hands up, mock surrender. Easy.
Killer.
Just chatting. Then, softer, almost brotherly. Jack, this feud, it's eating us. Drop the feds. The posts, I spill nothing. We reset. Reset. The word dangled. Bait on a hook. Part of me, the kid who'd shared comic books and county lines, yearned for it. The brotherhood unpoisoned. But the man I'd become saw the lie. The perpetual pivot. Reset how? You vanish? Or I pretend you didn't cuckold me with my own ghosts. His mask slipped. Regret flickering genuine. Or was it? It got out of hand. The affair. She came to me, broken over the miscarriage guilt. Said you blamed her. Miscarriage. The word eviscerated. Fresh wound. We'd lost the baby at 12 weeks. A silent grief I'd drowned in work, leaving her adrift. Blame? Subconscious. Maybe. But I'd never voiced it. Marcus had pounced, twisted her vulnerability into his web. You prayed. I spat.
Advancing.
He backed toward the exit, bell tinkling like alarm. Call it opportunity. But family sticks.
Jack.
Blood or not.
Family.
Again. The dagger. He bolted before I could swing, taillights vanishing into lunch hour traffic. I called Harlan. Voice shaking, he showed. Knows about the money. Silence. Then, sit tight. Warrants brewing, but sitting tight chafed. So I drove to Jax's loft in the Starland district. Graffiti walls pulsing with street art under sodium glow. He answered shirtless. Mid-vlog setup. Camera rigs tangled like spiderwebs. Trouble, he asked, handing a PBR from the mini-fridge. Worse. I spilled. The breach. The threat. Marcus's knowledge gap closing. Jax paced.
Manban bopping.
Creep hacked my Dropbox, saw the files. But I got countermeasures. Encrypted backups. Timestamps proving he accessed post-order. Countermeasures. Kid was sharper than his hipster vibe suggested. Ex-military dropout with a side in cybersecurity. We plotted over pizza, leak a teaser clip to a true crime subreddit. Marcus's face blurred but voice clear.
Confessing the passenger lie.
Viral poison, Jax grinned. He'll flip from hunter to hunted. The post dropped at midnight. Subreddit ablaze by 2 a.m., upvotes climbing. Comments dissecting like autopsy. This guy's toast. One read. Sounds like a setup. Countered another. Polarizing. Just as the tension craved. Emily called it dawn. Frantic. Jack. It's everywhere. He's furious, voicemail ranting about ending this our way. Our way. Ominous as a noose. I pulled her into bed. holding tight against the chill seeping through floorboards. "We're winning," I lied, her heartbeat sinking mine in defiant rhythm. But victory's a tease in revenge's theater. That afternoon, Harlan's office exploded. Marcus countersued. Defamation and harassment, claiming I fabricated the footage. Deepfakes to frame him. Twist. He produced evidence, screenshots of my IP pinging sleuth sites, timestamps aligning with the leaks. Harlan's cigar went cold. "He's lawyered up too, Shark from DC, ex-federal prosecutor. This flips the script. Now you're the aggressor." Aggressor. The word echoed my past. The hit-and run's shadow lengthening. Emily paced the consultation room, heels clicking like metronome to doom. "Settle," she urged. "Before it consumes us." Settle? With the devil?
No.
But doubt crept, a worm in the apple. Driving home through thunderheads dumping sheets on the marshes, wipers slapping frantic, I replayed Marcus's plea. Family sticks. Was I the villain now, unraveling lives for a score? Emily's hand found mine at a red light, squeezing. "Whatever happens, I choose you."
Chose.
Past tense lingered. Fragile. Night fell heavy, power flickering from the squall. We lit candles, shadows dancing like accusations on clapboard walls. Then the crash, front window shattering. Brick through glass with a note fluttering. Passenger sees all. "Your turn to ride." Heart slamming, I barricaded the door. Shotgun from the closet, relic from Daddy's hunting days. Oiled and loaded. Emily whimpered beside me. Phone dialing 911. Sirens wailing distant. Marcus. Escalating to terror. The cops came. Dusted prints, none. Filed reports, routine. But as they left, blue lights strobing the rain, I knew this war demanded blood, not briefs. Next day, I met Ricky in a Waffle House parking lot, gravel crunching under tires, the lot steaming post-storm. He slid into my truck, folder thick as a Bible. Goldmine. Jackie. Hales dipping in human trafficking, smuggling gigs via cargo ships from Miami. Ties to cartels. Whispers of co-eds gone missing. Missing. The word iced my veins. Emily could have been next, a statistic in his rage. Proof. Ricky tapped the folder.
Whistleblower audio.
Manifests with his sig. But dangerous. These boys don't play. Dangerous. My middle name since Ohio. I pocketed it, fist-bumping goodbye. Back home, Emily waited, bags half-packed.
I'm scared. Jack.
For us.
Us.
The tether holding me human. I pulled her close, folder burning in my jacket. One more move. Then we end it. But ending meant choosing. Law's slow grind. Or vigilante's blade. The storm cleared. Stars pricking black velvet. But my sky stayed roiled. Lightning forking toward climax. The folder from Ricky was Pandora's arsenal. Pages dog-eared with manifests and memos that painted Marcus not as a slick operator, but a serpent in the garden, coils wrapped around the underbelly of America's ports, ferrying flesh across azure waves for pesos and power. I pored over it in the shop's back office after hours. Fluorescent buzz the only witness. Coffee gone cold as the horrors unfolded. Names of girls. Barely legal. Listed as cargo alongside crates of knockoff Nikes. Destinations blurred to protect the guilty. Marcus's signature looped elegant at the bottom, approving shipments from Miami docks to shadowy buyers up the eastern seaboard.
One audio clip, Good I need.
Voices muffled by warehouse echoes had him haggling in Spanglish, laughing as he bartered a life for ledger lines. 19 anos. Fresca, prime stock. Boss. Prime stock. The bile rose, hot and acidic, splashing the sink as I retched. This wasn't betrayal, it was abomination. The boy I'd brotherhooded with morphed into monster. Emily knew none of it when I got home. The bungalow aglow with her baking therapy, apple pie cooling on the sill, cinnamon masking the fear. Rough day, she asked. Apron dusted flour like snow on magnolias. I hesitated, the folder heavy in my pack. Then spilled, sanitized.
No gore.
Just enough to steal her. Her face crumpled. Pie server clattering to tile.
God. Jack. How?
Why?
Why?
The eternal Southron query, drawled over sweet tea and sins. Because power corrupts.
Eminencia.
And he was always hungry. We sat at the harvest table, her hand in mine, plodding under the pendulum swing of the clock. Feds, she insisted. Voice stealing. Anonymous drop, clean hands.
Clean.
Again.
The myth.
But I nodded. Burner laptop open on the scarred oak, uploading scans to a TOR encrypted tip site for Homeland Security. Click send, and it was done. Digital arrow loosed, arrowing toward his throat. Sleep came fitful. Dreams of containers creaking open to hollow eyes. Marcus's grin the lock. Dawn brought backlash. Swift as a gator snap. My phone buzzed at 6 a.m. Harlan. Hoarse from night owl calls. Feds swarmed Hale's condo pre-dawn. He's in holding. Screaming your name. Screaming. Satisfaction curled. Dark and sweet as sorghum. But Harlan's tone soured it. He lawyered fast. Alibi for the trafficking. Claiming setup. And Jack? He's got counterintel. Your IP on the upload. Traced through VPN slip. Slip. Ricky's proxy. Amateur hours exposed. They'll want you for questioning. Obstruction. Maybe conspiracy.
Conspiracy.
The word cuffed me anew. Echoes of Ohio, please. Emily woke to my pacing. Silk robe slipping shoulder. Concern etching deeper. What now?
Now.
The precipice. I dressed quick, jeans, flannel, the everyman's armor, and drove to the federal building in Savannah. Squat concrete fortress baking under coastal sun. Agents met me in a sterile box. Ties loosened. Coffee breath thick. Vasquez. Latina fireplug with cop eyes. Ellis. Waspy drone with a notepad fetish. Mr. Reese. Vasquez started. Sliding photos across Formica, Marcus in cuffs. Mugshot glare defiant. Hale fingers you for the leaks. Revenge porn. He calls it. Wedding drama spilling to felonies. Drama. Reductionist bullshit. I leaned forward, elbows on table, channeling every cop show trope. Ask him about the containers. The girls. I got manifests. Audio, dropped clean. Ellis scribbled. Pen scratching like accusation. And your beef? Affair? Blackmail? I spilled selective truth. The footage. The threats. Emily's payoff twist omitted to shield her. Vasquez's brow arched. Payoff for manslaughter? That's tampering.
Reese.
You knew. Bluff called.
No.
Learned recent. Marcus twisted it. They grilled 2 hours. Water plastic tasting. Clock mocking slow. Finally. Release, no charges yet. But don't leave jurisdiction.
Outside.
Salt air slapped freedom. But chains lingered invisible. Emily waited in the Prius. Thermos of chicory waiting. Clear? Mostly. We drove home via the beach road. Windows down. Gulls crying judgment. He's rotting, I said. Sand dunes blurring gold. But it won't stick without more.
More.
The hook. Marcus's flip came that evening. Collect call from county, his voice tinny through receiver. Contrite as a confessor. Jack.
Truce.
Meet me, neutral. Tomorrow. Picnic spot off Bonaventure.
Noon.
Bring the originals, I'll sign waiver. Confess the affair. The blackmail. Clean slate.
Clean.
The siren song. Emily vetoed hard. Pacing kitchen, linoleum worn shiny by doubts. Trap. He's cornered animals bite.
Bite. Truth.
But so did I. One meet. Closure. She relented.
Quis fierce.
Tasting fear and farewell. Bonaventure Cemetery dawned misty. Spanish moss draping live oaks like funeral veils. The air heavy with azalea perfume masking decay. Tourists milled, ghost hunters with EMF meters. Snapping azaleas blooming defiant on graves. But the picnic knoll was ours. Secluded by weeping willows. I arrived early. Folder tucked in satchel. .38 revolver cold against ankle, paranoia's talisman from a pawnshop impulse. Marcus emerged from the haze. Khakis rumpled. No cuffs yet. Flanked by a suit, his shark. Briefcase swinging like a pendulum. Brother, he called. Arms, open mock hug. The suit hovered. Eyes scanning for wires. We sat on wrought iron bench. Granite angels, looming judgment. Appreciate this, he said. Voice velvet over gravel. Feds are bluffing, no hard proof on trafficking. Ghost ship logs. Easy forge.
Forge.
Like our bond. I slid the folder over.
Sign.
Admit the passenger seat. The affair. The threats. Then we walk. He flipped pages. Pen poised. But paused. Eyes locking mine, that chameleon shift. Predator to prey. One condition. Emily testifies for me. Says the footage is fake. Your revenge fantasy. Fantasy. The gall ignited. Fuck no.
He sighed.
Theatrical. Then we both burn.
See?
I got her emails, the payoff wires. Her IP on the hush fund. Accomplice.
Jack.
Your wife's the fall girl. Fall girl. Emily. Sacrificed again. Rage blurred. Hand twitching to ankle. But the suit cleared throat. Time's ticking. Hale's hearing tomorrow. Deal or discovery?
Discovery. Mutuelle assure destruction.
Marcus leaned close. Breath minty over malice. Family chooses sides. Yours or mine?
Mine.
Always. But the pen scratched. Signing partial. Affair yes. Blackmail vague.
Passenger denied.
Enough, he asked. Sliding back. Enough? Hell no. As they rose, I stood. Voice steady. One more thing. Pulled the .38. Casual draw. Barrel kissing his temple. The suit froze. Hands up. Birdsong died. Confess full.
Now.
Marcus's eyes widened. Not fear, recognition.
Jackie. Don't.
We're the same survivors. Survivors. The lie that bound us. Now the noose. Thunder grumbled distant. Moss swaying like nooses. Same?
You used me.
Killed through me. Trafficked innocence. The gun trembled. Emily's face flashing. Her choice. My anchor. He whispered. Flip final. Shoot.
And you're me.
Worse.
Worse.
The precipice yawned. Sirens wailed faint. Tourist tip-off. I lowered. Holstering. Heart hammering.
Roten hell.
They fled. Gravel spitting. Leaving me amid ghosts. Back home, Emily bandaged my psyche with hugs.
Bjegormd.
But the partial confession was ash. Lawyers shredded it as coerced. Harlan called. He's out on bail. Dangerous. Dangerous. Understatement. That night, sleep evaded. Ceiling fan whirring accusations. I'd pulled the trigger on peace. Squeezed empty. Revenge's cost? Soul erosion. One flip at a time. Ricky texted at midnight. New lead. Hales fleeing south. Safe house in Key West. Cartel ties. Fleeing. The chase reignited. Adrenaline chasing despair. Emily stirred, murmuring, End it.
Jack.
For us.
Us.
The mantra.
Dawn.
I packed duffel, clothes, gun. Folder remnants, kissing her goodbye in the pearl light. 2 days. Love you. Her eyes. Haunted. Come back whole. The drive south was fevered. I-95 a ribbon through swamplands. Podcasts droning true crime to mirror my spiral. Stops at barbecue shacks for pulled pork and purpose. Neon motels for catnap and calls to Jax. Track his cell, ping towers. Jax. Embedded now. Fed chords like candy. By nightfall, Florida Keys loomed. Conch shells crunching under tires. Ocean vast and unforgiving. The safe house was a bungalow on stilts. Hurricane shutters slatted against tropic night. Waves lapping pilings like tongues. I parked distant. Binoculars scanning. Marcus on deck. Phone to ear. Gesturing frantic to shadows below. Cartel muscle. Tattoos inked like indictments. Heart thundering. I crept close. Salt-stinging eyes. .38 slicken palm. Eavesdrop. Reese knows too much. Eliminate the loose end, him and the wife.
Wife.
Emily. The red veil dropped. I fired warning. Crack-splitting night. Splintering shutter. Shouts erupted. Figures scattering like roaches. Marcus dove for cover. Bellowing Spanish curses. I bolted for truck. Engine roaring to life. Bullets pinging fender as I floored it. Rear view. Chaos. Lights flashing distant sirens. Escape. But Pyrrhic, he'd marked us terminal now. Back north. Emily safe in Harlan's guest flat. I holed in a roadside econolodge. TV flickering hurricane watch. Call from Vasquez. Hales vanished. But your shot? Ballistics match the cemetery pole. Self-defense. Self. The flip eternal. He was trafficking. I stopped to hit. Half-truth. Whole war. Sleep came drugged with whiskey. Dreams of containers bobbing. Faces pressing glass. Emily's among them. Mouthing chews. Morning brought resolve. No more half measures. I called Ricky. Full court. Leaked to press. Cartel names. Everything.
Press.
The nuclear option. Polarizing as napalm. By noon, headlines screamed, Wedding crash to crime lord. Yek's best man's dark secrets. Comments fractured. Hero husband. Versus. Vigilante bullshit. Readers picking sides in our blood feud. Marcus surfaced in a blurry Insta-live. From God knows where. Face gaunt. Flipping narrative. Jack Reese framed me. Jealous rage over his crumbling marriage. I'm the victim here.
Victim.
The ultimate pivot. Emily called. Voice breaking. It's everywhere. People hating us.
Us.
The collateral. But the tide turned. Tips flooded feds. A missing girl ID'd from manifests. Cartel whispers cracking. Harlan crowed. He's cornered. Extradition brewing from Nassau.
Nassau.
His bolt hole. Climax loomed. Humid and inevitable. I waited in Savannah. .38 cleaned. Emily's hand in mine at dockside bar. Sunset bleeding red over river. If he comes, she said, promise mercy.
Mercy.
The controversy's core. No clean kills in gray wars. Horns blared freighters. Echoing my horn dilemma. The Nassau tip was a phantom lead. Bait Marcus dangled to lure me south again. His moxie unbowed even as the noose of international warrants cinched. I bid anyway. Emily's protests echoing in my ears like bad radio static. It's suicide. Jack. He's baiting the trap, but the pull is magnetic. That toxic tether from boyhood yanking me into the blue. Flights to Bahamas were cheap off-season. A red-eye from Atlanta with layover in Miami, where humidity clung like regret and conch fritters tasted of ash. The island hit at dawn. Turquoise brutal in its beauty. Palm fronds rattling like castanets to some voodoo rhythm. Rental jeep. Top down. I blasted Buffett to drown doubts. Weaving turquoise veins toward Paradise Island. The safe house chords from Jax's latest hack glowing on my phone. Paradise. Irony's cruelest joke. The bungalow squatted on a cove's edge. Clabbered peeling like scabs. Hurricane tie-downs rusted prayers against the next blow. No cartel goons this time, just Marcus. Solo on the veranda. Nursing a rum neat. Binoculars trained seaward as if scanning for saviors. He spotted me crunching conch shell drive. Waving lazy.
No flinch.
Knew you'd come.
Jackie.
Blood calls. I parked. .38 holstered under aloha shirt. Tourist camouflage. Satchel slung with a folder's dregs. Endgame.
Mark.
Sign full confession. Or I walk you to the embassy myself. He laughed. Throaty. Pouring a second glass from condensation-beaded bottle. Embassy? These islands got more holes than Swiss.
Sit. Drink.
Let's reminisce before the finale. Reminisce. The seduction of nostalgia.
His specialty.
Against gut. I sat. Wicker creaking under weight. Rum burning familiar trail to memories. Ohio summers. Skipping stones on the Cuyahoga. Dreaming big while factories belch smoke. We were kings then, he said. Eyes distant over wave caps. You. The muscle me. The mouth. Con the world together. Together. The gloss over grit. Until you sold me out. The accident. The lies. He swirled ice. Clinking like chains. Survival. Brother. Dealer had it coming. Laced Ma's stash.
Remember?
I aimed the car through you.
Yeah.
But it was justice. Justice. Twisted as driftwood. And Emily? The trafficking? That justice too. His face hardened. Flipped to flint. Emily chose. Came to me weeping after the loss. Your distance drove her. As for the girls. Business. Harsh world.
Jack.
You grease engines, I grease palms.
Grease.
The parallel stung. We both soiled hands for pay. But lines blurred. My labor honest. His empire on backs broken. Rum loosened tongues. Sun climbing merciless. Why me? I pressed. Voice raw. Brother for life. You said. He leaned close. Breath boozy. Because you were pure. Unbreakable. Breaking you? Proved I could break anything. Anything. Including himself. Now. Cornered on this spit of sand. The flip came mid-sip. His hand darted. Knocking glass. Shards flying as he lunged for my gun. We grappled. Chairs toppling. Veranda planks groaning under rolls, fists flying. Elbows cracking ribs. Salt air whipping sweat-sting eyes. He was wiry. Fueled by desperation, I was bulked by betrayal. Landing a hook that split his lip anew. Give it up, I growled. Pinning him. Knee to gut. He wheezed. Laughing bloody. Never. We're mirrors. Jack. Both killers at core.
Killers.
The echo of Ohio. The .38 digging hip. Sirens wailed distant. Local constab. Tipped by who? Jack's? A maid? Marcus bucked. Knee connecting groin. Pain exploding white. I staggered. Gun skittering dockside. Plopping into shallows with bubbles mocking. He scrambled up. Dagger glint from pocket switchblade. Illegal gleam. Your move. Hero. Hero. The controversy incarnate. I backed toward rail. Waves lapping hungry below. Shoot straight.
Mark. Confess.
And maybe mercy. Mercy. He circled. Blade weaving lazy eights. Mercy? Like you showed the dealer? Dealer.
Victim.
The moral quagmire deepened. No absolutes in this tango. Tourists gawked from beach. Phones out, viral doom. A constable burst from palms. Megaphone blaring. Arms up. Bahamian police. Marcus froze. Flipped to feigned innocence. Officer. He's the threat. American vigilante.
Me.
The aggressor again. Chaos cascaded. Cuffs chafing wrists. Dragged to jeep. Emily's call buzzing futile from confiscated phone. Interrogation in Nassau lockup. Cinderblock cell reeking fish and despair. Constables grilling in Patwathic English. You shoot? A fight? Why here? I spilled measured. Trafficking tip. Self-defense. Folder surrendered as exhibit. Marcus. In adjacent cell. Catcalled. Tell M about the payoff. Loverboy. Your wife's in deep.
Deep.
The shout carried. Constables exchanging glances. By nightfall. Feds intervened, US. Marshals airlifting us both. Extradition greased by my tips hitting paydirt. A container raid in Miami. Girls freed. Headlines screaming wedding vows to vice bust. But the ride north was hell, chained to bench in a Gulf Stream. Marcus across aisle. Eyes locked in mutual loathing. This ain't over, he muttered. As turbulence jostled. Family bleeds together.
Bleeds.
Prophetic. Savannah touchdown at midnight. Emily waiting in terminal. Pale under fluorescence. Hug crushing. Alive, she breathed. Tears salter than sea. Harlan met us curbside. Cigar aglow. Charges stack for him. Trafficking. Assault.
Fraud.
You. Witness protection angle. Immunity for the tampering if you testify.
Testify.
The public pillory. Home was a blur, shower scalding sins away. Bed swallowing us whole. Bodies reaffirming life in gasps and grips. But dawn brought the twist shadow. Anonymous email. Jack's forwarding from dark web trace. Marcus's shark. Leaking Emily's payoff wires to tabloids. Headlines by breakfast. Bride's blood money. Cover-up in wedding whodunit? Polarizing frenzy erupted. Pundits on Fox decrying liberal enablers. CNN psychoanalyzing my toxic masculinity. Emily crumbled. Scrolling feeds in nightgown. Sobs hitching. They hate me. Us.
Us.
Fractured. I held her. Rage redirecting. Marcus. From cell. Puppeteering chaos. A call to Vasquez. He's talking. Deal for the affair footage. Framing it as my obsession. Obsession. The narrative flip. Him victim. Me monster. Vasquez sighed. He's slippery. But the girl's testimony seals trafficking, life without. Life. Justice's cold comfort. Emily rallied. Therapy sessions in Harlan's antebellum office. Unpacking the miscarriage guilt. Marcus's grooming. I chose wrong, she confessed. Kleenex wadded. But you? Your redemption. Redemption. The word warmed.
Tentative.
We rebuilt slow, date nights at Forsyth Park. Picnics dodging paparazzi drones. Her laugh returning like spring thaw. Yet tension simmered. Pot about to boil. Trial loomed in federal court. Atlanta. Marble halls echoing footsteps of fate. I testified first, stands swallowing me. Jury eyes dissecting, housewives with Bibles. Blue-collar dads nodding kin pain. He betrayed me, wife. Trust. Life, I said, voice cracking on the stand, footage playing stark on screens. Gasps rippled, Marcus. At defense table. Smirked, flipping jury with charm. His turn, the pivot masterclass. Jack's unstable, haunted by accident he caused alone. I covered. Loved like brother. The affair? Mutual regret. Trafficking? Lies. Planted.
Lies.
Jury leaned. Some nodding empathy, controversy seated. No clear villain. Emily's testimony tipped scales, poised in pencil skirt. Voice steady. He blackmailed me. Used our pain for control.
Pain.
The human hook. Tears glistening, authentic. Jury deliberated days. Headlines hedging, guilty or gaslight. Verdict dropped like guillotine. Guilty. Trafficking counts. 40 life. Cheers in gallery. But Marcus's eyes met mine across divide, not defeat. Promise. See you on the flip. Brother.
Flip.
The eternal tease. Release tasted bittersweet. Media scrum at courthouse steps. Emily's shielding face in my shoulder. Free, she whispered.
Free.
But shadows lingered, PTSD nights. Gun under pillow. Therapy unpacking the killer echo. We honeymooned late. Smokey's cabin.
No cameras.
Just hikes and hearth fires. Vows renewed minus the rose tint. Yet the twist brewed. Innocuous at first. Letter post-trial. Marcus's scrawl from Supermax. Jack, truth time. The miscarriage? Not fate. I spiked her wine that night. Early labor-induced. Payback for her digging my past. Forgive? Or join me inside? Your call.
Spiked.
Miscarriage. Murder. The paper trembled. Emily reading over shoulder. Gasp shattering cabin peace. No, she moaned. collapsing.
No.
The final betrayal. Deepest cut, our lost child. His collateral. Rage supernova. But choice forked. Expose. Reopen wounds. Media circus redux? Or bury? Let karma's cell suffice? We debated nights. Fire crackling accusations. He wins if we break, she said. Hand on belly, miracle positive test. 2 pink lines. Pregnant. Hope's fragile bloom. Let him rot.
Rot.
But the debate raged internal. Readers, if chronicled, picking mercy or monster. I burned the letter. Ashes swirling chimney. Choosing us. But in quiet, doubt whispered, flip again? The end ambiguous. Scar eternal. The letter's ashes haunted like cigarette butts ground into carpet. A stain no vacuum could erase. But Emily's pregnancy news acted the exorcist. Pink lines on a drugstore stick morphing our wreckage into womb. A fragile phoenix rising from revenge's pyre. We kept it hushed at first. Doctor's visits and cash at a Beaufort clinic off the grid. Ultrasound wand revealing heartbeat flutter like Morse for second chances. Boy or girl, she'd ask. Hand on swell. Eyes brightening post-therapy glow. Doesn't matter, I'd reply. Kissing the bump. Long as it's ours.
Ours.
Reclaimed territory. Marcus's spike confession interred with the dead. But graves don't stay filled in the South. Ghosts percolate through clay like sweet tea sweat. Supermax leaks started whispers, Marcus. In Gen Pop. Charming wardens with tales of fraternal feud. Flipping narrative to podcaster gold. Inside the betrayal, a brother's lament, some true crime vixen pitched. Interviewing him, via glass. His voice velvet over vents. Jack's the real monster. Drove that car loaded. Killed the dealer in cold blood. I took the fall emotionally. Covered to save his soul.
Soul.
The revisionist rot. Seeding doubt in fan forums. Petitions for appeals circling like vultures. Emily caught me scrolling one midnight. Nursery half-painted in neutral sage. Her in oversized tea tenting belly. Don't, she murmured. Curling against. Vanilla lotion scent grounding. He's poison ivy touch. And rash spreads.
Rash.
Apt. Itch of injustice. Scratching reopened the miscarriage scar. Our lost ones echo in every kick. But I scratched anyway. Anonymous posts countering. He spiked the wine.
Killed our baby.
Backlash fractured. Prove it. Versus. Poor guy. Framed by rage. Polarizing perfection. Readers allying with phantoms. Debating morality over memes. Harlan advised distance. His oak office now sanctuary. Cigar smoke curling like question marks. Appeals bullshit. Evidence ironclad. But publicity? Jury of public opinion sways slow. Slow. Time we had. Baby due in 5 months. My shop hours cut to paternity prep, crib assembly fumbles. Name lists debated over lowcountry boil. Jax visited once. Drone footage of Supermax perimeter in tow. His vlog dreams dashed but loyalty lingering. Dude.
Drop a book.
Revenge roadkill. Bestseller vibes.
Book.
Catharsis or curse.
Emily Vitov, no.
We live quiet. Quiet shattered Labor Day weekend. Barbecue at her folks' Charleston estate, shrimp and grits steaming under live oak shade. Family orbiting the bump with coups and cautions. Her daddy. Silver-haired magnate with yacht club drawl. Clapped my back. Heard about the trial.
Son.
Tough break.
Break.
Understatement. Then the envelope. Slipped under plate by a maid's discreet hand. Cream stock.
No postmark.
Marcus's slant inside. Congrats on round 2. Hope it sticks.
P.S.
Daddy's dealer? My bio dad. Blood kills blood. Bio dad. The bomb detonated silent. Fork pausing midair. Emily's laugh with cousin's tinny. Dealer lace mom's pills. Marcus's setup through me, but father? Incestuous twist. Fratricide veiled. I pocketed it. Face neutral. But gut churned like churned butter. Drive home through she-crab soup sunset. Emily chattering baby names. Eloise or Elias, I nodded autopilot. Revelation festering. Confrontation brewed that night. Storm lashing windows. Thunder punctuation to my pacing. Jack, talk.
Talk.
The dam broke. Letter spilled.
Spike detail.
Now this paternal poison. Her face blanched. Hand protective on belly.
God. He's.
Evil incarnate. Evil. A comic book. But fitting. Why tell now?
Why?
Control's last gasp. From stripes. We curled fetal. Lightning forking fears. Her whisper fierce. Protect this one. No more flips. No more. Mantra morphed mission. I hired private eye legit this time. Ex-FBI with rates highway robbery to vet the claim. Weeks later. Report landed. DNA scraps from old crime scene. Ohio PD archives.
Confirming. Maxenhalle.
Dealer alias. Sperm donor to Marcus's orphaned youth. Explains the hate. PI grunted over Skype. Jowls quivering. Patricide proxy through you.
Proxy.
I'd been pawn eternal. The knowledge armored. But controversy courted. Leak it. Vindicate? Or bury? Deny the devil oxygen? Emily voted silence. Therapy unpacking generational curse. Her debutante poise cracking to reveal daddy issues. My grease monkey grit grinding ghosts. Cycle breaks here, she vowed. Nursery mobile spinning stars over crib. Baby arrived November squall. Elias Jack Reese. Red-faced howl-piercing delivery room din. Emily's grip vice as she pushed past pain. Holding him. Tiny fist clutching finger. I wept. Redemption raw. Marcus's shadow shrinking in that light. Discharge brought homecoming parade. Balloons on porch. Harlan with cigars, non-lit for babe. Jack's live streaming, muted for privacy. Elias nurse greedy. Emily radiant exhausted. Our triad complete. But paradise pricks. 6 weeks postpartum. Blues hit Emily hard. Hormones haywire. Whispers of postpartum creeping. One dawn feed. Bottle warm on stove. She confessed. I see him in dreams. Marcus. Taunting the baby.
Taunting.
The spike specter. I held her. Rocking Elias colic fussy. Vowing vigilance. Then the call, Vasquez. Tone grave. Hails shanking inmates. Starting riots. Claims self-defense. But pattern. Targeting snitches. Your name's on his hit list, inside whispers.
Hit list.
From cell. Reach long as tentacles.
Panic spiked.
Home fortified, alarms. Cameras. Harlan pushing relocation to witness safe house in Asheville Hills. Emily resisted. Run? He wins.
Wins.
The flip sphere. We compromised. Beefed security. My shop sold for nest egg. Freelance wrenching from home garage. Life downshifted. Elias's milestones mile markers. First smile.
Roll.
Gurgle. distilling days to essence. Yet the antagonist evolved. Marcus morphing myth via prison zine interviews. Flipping to folk antihero. Betrayed by blood. Framed by feds. Story of the little guy crushed by machine. Fans rallied. Merch hawking freehail tees. Podcasts parsing our saga as class warfare. Polarizing peaked. My inbox flooded. Hate mail calling me cop lover. Fan mail lauding Avenger. Emily filtered. Deleting digital dross. But one slipped. Photo of Elias and bouncer. Time-stamped yesterday. Scrawled next passenger?
Hacked gum.
Breach intimate as violation. Cops swarmed. IT forensics tracing to Supermax contraband phone. Marcus's prints digital. Charges added, stalking. Endangerment but appeals dragged. His shark spinning fan art defense. Rage recircuited. I wrote the book. Ghosted by Jax. Gravel and ghosts, a mechanic's reckoning. Dropped anonymous. Indie press. Sales spiking on scandal waves. Excerpts viral. The veranda fight. The spike reveal, sanitized. Closing with revenge isn't justice, it's the scar that teaches. Readers rioted. Book clubs debating ethics over Chardonnay. Reddit threads fracturing alliances. Jack's hero. Broke the cycle. Versus. Enabler, covered murder. Profited on pain. Controversies cocaine. But cathartic. Royalties funding Elias's 529. Emily's art classes reclaiming canvas from chaos. Marcus's response? A smuggled poem. Via zine conduit. Brother in arms. Now chains, / you birthed my fall. I your flame. / flip the script. Visit. Or blame.
Blame.
The invitation venom-laced.
Emily Forbade, no.
He's abyss.
Abyss.
But curiosity clawed, closure siren. Visit granted after vetting. Supermax drive a pilgrimage through peach orchards to razor wire purgatory. Processing stripped dignity, shoes off. Pat down probing. Elias left with sitter. Emily's kiss talisman. Visitation booth. Plexiglass smudged. Marcus appeared gaunt. Orange jumpsuit hanging. But eyes alight. Flip fluid. Nephew cute. Pics.
No.
Why? Mark? The baby pic. The taunts end it. He leaned. Breath fogging glass. End. Story needs antagonist. Without me, you're just mechanic schlub.
Schlub.
The truth barbed, we define mutual. Mirrors mangled. Confess full. I pressed. Receiver slick palm. Patricide setup.
Spike. All.
He chuckled.
Hollow.
Confessions boring. Live the gray, right? Wrong? Jury's out.
Gray.
The debate's core. No binaries in blood bonds. Phone clicked. Time up. His parting. Tell him, sorry. Meant the charm. Not the chain.
Sorry.
Pivot to pathos? Drive home. Fields blurring. I wrestled. Forgive fracture? Or fuel the feud? Emily waited. Elias teething fussy. Her arms haven. Well, spill, the sorry.
The gray.
She softened. Fraction. Human. Maybe. But gone.
Gone.
The verdict personal. Months rolled. Book tour truncated. Signings in indie shops. Dodging podcasters hungry for soundbites. Elias crawled. Then toddled. First word, dagger to heart. Emily bloomed. Gallery show of storm-scarred abstracts. Critics praising raw resilience. We picnicked Forsyth. Ducks quacking banal. Normalcy's nectar. But climax's aftershock quaked. Appeal hearing. Atlanta Federal. Marcus arguing entrapment. Reese's leaks framed me. Jury absent. Judge's gavel final. Denied. Rage riots in yard. Smuggled shank used on guard solitary. Life harsher. Vasquez called. He's broken. Your win.
Win.
Pyrrhic prize. Emily pregnant again. Surprise skin showing twins. Hope doubled. But the twist lingered. Unresolved, that night. Digging garden for mint. Shovel struck metal. Buried USB. Jax's mark. Labeled final cut. Plug in.
Laptop glowing nuser nylai. Wedding footed antontet.
Marcus spiking punch bowl pre-reception. Not just Emily's wine. But mine lace too. Aborted confrontation. Voice over his. Keep the peace. Brother. For family. Family. The puppet master's last laugh.
Delete.
Or destroy. I crushed it. Boot grinding plastic to dust. Elias's coup from monitor absolving. Ending ambiguous, by, or tragedy. We chose life. Scars scripting strength. But in quiet. Marcus's eyes flicker, flip side. Always waiting. Elias's second birthday dawned sticky, with May magnolias. Pollen dusting the bungalow like gold leaf on our fragile normalcy. But the USB's ghost lingered in my periphery, a shattered talisman I'd swept under rug. Pretending deletion equaled exorcism. Emily planned the party meticulous. Bounce house in backyard. Rented from a clown who doubled as off-Broadway Hamlet. Sheet cake iced with primary chaos. Neighborhood kids shrieking like banshees under live oak shade. I manned grill. Burgers sizzling grease pop. Beer in hand masking the itch, the perpetual what-if of Marcus's final flip. That spiked punch footage pulverized, but pulsing in memory. Earth to Dad. Emily teased. Hip-checking as she hauled cooler. Sundress blooming around her swell. Twins at 6 months.
Kicking symphonic.
Flip those before char.
Char.
The word snagged. Flipping burgers to flipping fates. I smiled mechanical. Tongs flipping patty. But eyes scanned fence line. Half expecting cartel shades or Supermax escapees. Paranoia's parting gift. Therapy taming but not taming. Party peaked chaos. Piñata exploding candy shrapnel. Elias gummy with frosting. Uncles tossing footballs while aunts clucked over Emily's glow. Harlan arrived late. Seersucker's suit rumpled. Envelope crisp. Good news? Folks, Hale's appeal squashed for good.
Solitaire till senescence.
Senescence. Fancy for rot. Cheers rose. Plastic cups clinking. But my toast stuck. To endings. Endings. Ambiguous as the cake's vanilla core. Cleanup brought quiet. Dusk painting sky bruise purple. Fireflies winking conspirators. Emily nursed twins in rocker. Elias crashed mud-streaked. And I sipped porch rail bourbon. Crickets chorusing complacency. Then the burner buzz, unknown. Resisted 3 rings before curiosity caved. Voice crackled. Bahamian lilt. Mr. Reese, PI from before.
Nos en don holle.
Loose end. Dread's dialect. Spit. He did, Marcus. Pre-capture. Wired cash to Nassau contact. Bounty on the family. Unclaimed but active. Cartel echoes. Call it off. Or collect.
Collect.
The temptation. Dark as chicory. Shut it down. Name your price. Wired funds hasty. PI's thanks curt. But sleep evaded. Twins gurgles from monitor mocking my vigil. Emily sensed on. Coffee brewing strong. Bad night. Partial truth. Old ghosts.
Ghosts.
Marcus's specialty. We drove to beach that morning. Tybee sands silver under overcast. Elias building lopsided castles while twins napped stroller. Waves lapped confessional. Her hand in mine, the bounty, new from Harlan. Proud you stopped it.
Proud. The bomb.
But her eyes held more. Therapy breakthrough? She said, forgiving Marcus. Not absolution, but release. He's broken toy.
Jack.
We're the fix.
Fix.
Mechanic's creed. Nodded, kissing salt lips. But fix implied tinkering. And Marcus defied torque. Back home. Mail brought bomb. Court summons. Civil suit from trafficking survivor. Girl from the container. Now 20. Suing estate for damages. Naming me enabler via leaks that prolong trauma. Enabler. The flip from avenger to accomplice. Controversies carousel. Harlan fumed in office. Blinds slatted against noon glare. Frivolous. Settle quiet. 5 figures.
5.
Pocket change. But sting semantic. Girl's lawyer. Firebrand from ACLU. Deposed me Zoom. Your revenge exposed her hell. Intentional infliction. Infliction. The gray deepened. My tips life-saving yet lacerating. Emily coached prep. Own the mess. Empathy wins. Empathy.
Hard one.
Depot dragged. Her voice tinny through speakers. Accent Eastern Euro thick with pain. I see her face in news. The husband hero. But hero to who? My nightmares. Your fame.
Fame.
The book's curse. Royalties tainted. I choked. Sorry. Meant justice. Not journalism.
Sorry.
Echo of Marcus's booth whisper. Case settled out court.
Nee, det er særlig clips.
But scar-itched, revenge's ricochet. No clean boomerang. Summer sweltered. Elias potty training triumphs amid twin tag team tantrums. Emily's gallery show sellout funding family vaca to Smokies, cabin perch. Bear sightings. S. Moray's sticky sacrament. There. Unplugged. I confess the bounty call. Her response fierce hug. We're steel now. Unbreakable. Unbreakable. The vow upgraded. Fall flipped leaves to fire. School starting for Elias preschool. My freelance gigs booming. Word of mouth from book. Clients seeking the story guy for engine tales over oil changes. Jack's collaborated podcast. Gravel Ghosts Uncut.
Épisode dissecting twist sans gore.
Guest therapists unpacking betrayal psychology. Listeners engaged. Jack's arc? Tragic hero or anti-villain?
Anti.
The label stuck. Polarizing pods into camps. Thanksgiving brought kin. Emily's Charleston clan. Turkey brine and banter, but under table. My phone vibrated. Supermax alert. Marcus hospitalized, shivved in yard. Anonymous blade. Gut wound septic. Critical. Vasquez. He named you beneficiary. Well, reading if he codes. Beneficiary. The macabre inheritance. Hospital vigil. Atlanta med ward sterile as scalpel. Emily home with kids. Trust tethering. Marcus tubed. Monitors beeping dirge. But eyes cracked open. Lucid flicker. Jackie. Rasp through mask. Come to gloat.
Gloat. No.
Closure. He nodded feeble. Flipping frail. The spike. Regret. Miscarriage haunted me too. Thought it'd bind her closer. Closer. Twisted logic. And the dad? Wanted you to know. Hates heredity. Broke the chain.
Chain.
Snapped. Maybe. I squeezed hand. For drip cold. Yeah. For Elias. The twins. His grip tightened. Last strength. Right the end. No villains.
No.
The absolution ambiguous. Monitors flatlined hour later. Codes blue blurring to black. Family distant kin claiming body. No service per will. Will reading sterile. Lawyer droning assets. Condo liquidated. Debts devoured. Remainder, $50K, to me. Note attached, for the roads we drove. Flip to good.
Good.
The coin's other face. Donated anonymous to trafficking survivor fund. The girl from suit included, cycle flipped positive. Emily's reaction. Tears. Relief. Release party bonfire backyard. Kids roasting marshmallows oblivious. He's gone, she said. Flames gilding face.
Gone.
But legacy lingered. Book sequel scrapped. Podcast finale eulogizing Gray. Revenge teaches. No winners. Only wiser. Winter wrapped gentle. Twins crawling chaos. Elias reciting ABCs. Emily's abstracts in Moma Scout's eye. We renewed vows New Year's. Courthouse casual. Rings etched unflipped. Life's rhythm steadied. Scar stories for fireside. But twist's tale. Spring dig for garden. Shovel striking again. Time capsule?
No.
Marcus's stash. Pre-arrest. Letters to me. Unsent. Spilling boyhood hurts. Mom's odious too. Dealer dad's abandonment forging the monster. Last brother. If reading this, forgive the flips. We were always one.
Forgive.
The debate eternal. Burn them. Ashes to wind. Choosing forward. Ending? Happy haze. By tragic undertow. Readers argue. As designed. Us. Whole. Wheels turning true. Years folded like accordions. Compressing chaos to coda. Elias at 8 now. Lanky limbs and Lego empires. The twins, Lila and Leo, twinning tornadoes at 5. Turning bungalow to battlefield of Barbies and blocks. Emily's art career crested. Solo exhibit in NYC drawing collectors who whispered resilience over rows. Her canvases storm-slashed testaments to survival's palette. My wrenching went legit, shop rebranded Reese Revival. Specializing classic restores. Clients drawn by lore. Tipping extra for the book guys' banter on carburetors and comebacks. Life's a rebuilt V8. Humming smooth, but scars under hood. Oil leaks occasional reminders of the blowout. Marcus's shadow thin to silhouette. Mentioned in bedtime caveats. Uncle Mark made bad choices. Like speeding without brakes, Elias nodding solemn. Absorbing ethics osmosis. The kids' new fragments. Daddy's adventure story. Sanitized for sippy cups. But Emily and I unpacked full in couples retreats. Adirondack chairs creaking under star-pricked skies. Wine loosening locks. Do you regret? She'd ask. Fingers tracing my probation tattoo faded. Regret. The revenge?
Yeah.
The justice?
No. No.
Gray's gift. Controversy simmered low. Book reprints with forward update, a decade flipped, sparking TEDx invites. Me on stage button-down crisp. Sharing the cost of corners cut, slides splicing wedding clips to courtroom stills. Audience polarized applause. Feminists fist-pumping empowerment. Conservatives nodding vigilante vindication. Q&A fractured. Was he redeemable? Redeemable. The Eternal Split. Jax parlayed into docuseries.
Flip side. Netflix bidding war.
Casting calls for actors to essay our arcs. Me grizzled everyman. Emily Fiery Southern. Marcus the Mercurial Mage. Emily Nixt. Our story. Not spectacle.
Spectacle.
But premiere invite tempted. Red carpet, a gauntlet we walked once. Elias wide-eyed at stars. Twins twirling gowns. Paparazzi flashes fracturing night. Critics split, gripping gut punch versus exploitative echo chamber. Echo.
Fitting.
Legacy bloomed unexpected. Trafficking fund. Seeded by Marcus's bequest. Balloon to NGO Hale House. Ironic moniker for safe havens housing survivors. Scholarships for the girls gone women. Board meetings in Atlanta boardrooms. Me chairing reluctant. Emily's abstracts adorning lobbies. A quiet flip from vengeance to vessel. One gala. The girl from suit approached, now lawyer. Fierce in sheath. Your mess made mine. But this. Gesture to foyer bustle. Men's. The bomb reciprocal. Elias's 10th brought revelation. School project. Family tree. Construction paper branches barren on my side. Foster flotsam. Ohio orphans. He asked. Crayon poised. Grandpa the bad guy? The one daddy stopped. Euphemism's edge. Emily fielded gentle. Complicated. Like stories with no easy bad guys. Bad guys. He nodded. Drawing roots deep. Then were the good roots.
Good.
Child's clarity. Cutting Gordian. Twins' sixth echoed mischief. Lila's tea parties interrogating Leo's trucks. Why boys always crash. Mirroring our marital mirrors. Emily laughing. Cycles optional. The choice crystallized. We traveled light. Cross-country road trip in restored 57 Chevy. Route 66 ribboning Dust Bowl to dream. Kids backseat quizzing state capitals. Me narrating Grease Trail tales minus gore. Grand Canyon rim. Sunset gilding chasm. Emily's hand in mine. From abyss to this. The vista vast. But flips fate's fancy. Vasectomy reversal whim. Post-twin surprise, fourth child. Girl we named Mara. After Marcus's middle initial. Twist reclaimed. Pregnancy glowed Emily, ethereal. Ultrasound symphony to Elias's soccer scrimmages. Twins ballet recitals. Birth in spring rain. Mara mewling pink. Completing quartet. Chaos harmonious. Anniversary 20th hit hurricane season. Low country lashing. But we danced kitchen slow to Coltrane.
Kids abed.
Candles guttering. Still choose, she whispered. Sway sinking. Every flip. Now endearment. Dawn brought call, Harlan. Retired raspy. Hale House merger. Big donor. Felt right to tell. Anonymous. Marcus's ghost gifting? No coincidence. Will's codicil. Unearthed late. Funneling residual royalties, book residuals, to the fund perpetual. The final pivot. From predator to patron. Emily teared. Redemption arc. Hollywood's hook. But ours heartfelt. Aging crept benevolent. Grays threading my stubble. Emily's laugh lines mapping joy. Kids launching, Elias high school valedictorian dreams. Twins college scouts. Mara toddler terror. Shop sold to protege. Proceeds funding RV wanderlust snowbirding southwest. Chasing sunsets over saguaros. Podcasts obsolete for porch swings. Last twist. Gentle. Memoir update. Flipped forever. Epilogue penned Elias Guest. Dad taught. Revenge roads lead home. Home. The denouement domestic. Reader's final debate. Happy ever after. Or haunting hangs. Hangs. But we hang hammocks. Swaying content. Ending?
Yours to argue. Bikarmice.
Where villains vaporize virtue. Or tragic triumph. Scars scripting saints.
Me?
I choose the garage glow. Wrench turning true. Family orbiting eternal. Flipped, but forward.